everybody, this is the start to day 60. Now day 60 is Australia, colours, flora, fauna, you name it. I thought I've got this little book and it is now going to be an altered book. I'm not going to flip through it because it was 1949 I think when it was last published, which could put it close to being out of copyright. However, I'm not going to risk it, and besides, none of it will be on display once it's been altered. So I'm going to show you my first page and just continue. So what I've done is use some of this. This is the White Meadow Crafter's Choice sheets. There's some really beautiful, it's very English summer, and but it's also Australian summer as well, to me anyway. These are flowers in Australia just like anywhere else. So I covered up the name on the spine and covered up the little picture that was on the front that gave it away. Now what I've done is I've used one of my old I'll show you. Oops, bumping the table. My alcohol ink printables. I got my yellowy blue gold one out and I edited it to make it even more like the sand, the gold to look like sand, and the yellow of course of the beach and the blues. And so what I've used those for is the end papers. So that's what I'll do at the back as well. And I've just put a little thing down here because I think I'm going to add some type. I haven't done that yet, haven't got to that yet. So the next page I've covered up with some type to cover over, and I am just going to continue the theme of this particular. This is one of my favourites. I love a poppy, but we do have poppies, and of course Australia. My Australia isn't necessarily like everybody else's Australia. Well, it's like some people's Australia, obviously, but my Australia isn't a true blue ochre kind of Australia. Mine's a little bit more nature oriented, less, I don't mind a barbecue, but less alcohol, etc. I'm not a big drinker. It's about the beach for me. For me, Australia is about the beach. I've got a little platypus I'm going to put on. Parks, family, embracing Indigenous culture. have some friends who are Indigenous, and or is that technically not right to say anymore? Who knows? Things change all the time. Anyway, so I'm not a big Australia Day fan. The girl's dad was a surfer, so that gives you a picture of my lifestyle before we were separated and the kids left home. Or maybe it doesn't, because it wasn't it was a hippie lifestyle in terms of eating well. It wasn't a hippie lifestyle in terms of some of the other things you might think about. There. I've made this little watercolour tuck thing that I will put into something. Not doing that quite yet. I've also cut out a couple of shapes, so I don't know about the platypus. I'm just not thinking, maybe if you don't know, Australia has some of the weirdest animals on the planet. So the platypus, he's got his front web feet for digging and his back feet. I think it's only the male, maybe not the female. It's got a little spur on the back one, which apparently if you get nipped by that one, trying to catch him, it hurts. I've got a cassowary. And I've got a kookaburra. So I've done those, and I was thinking I was going to cut them out of a texture or coloured paper, and once again I'm a bit unorganised. I thought I was organised. I'm not organised. Am I ever organised? I don't know. So that's going to be something to do with watercolour, but that's not what we're doing right now. I have printed out onto vellum the same paper, and I wanted to make a little envelopey, pockety thing. Let's get my cutting board. I just love this. I love vellum. I just love this, the feel of the paper. So will I leave the edges? I might just leave the edges. This is like carrying on from the other day with Tina's little tracing paper envelopes. I think I'd like it to show up just a little bit more. Checking that is what I want to do. Yes. Now, am I going to sew around the edge? That's my question. Yes, one sec. Actually, so I don't have to edit, I'm going to stop it and come back and start again. Okay, so I'm back, and I have zigzagged around the whole sheet, all four corners, and then I've folded this up and done straight stitch down the bottom and up the side, just those. And I noticed this was okay. So you know, my sewing skills are not brilliant, and also when we do these things, sometimes this happens where you get a little bit of a pucker. And I just thought, well, you know what? I think I'll just put a bit of this over to cover it up. That's a bit better. Yes, that's better. All right, a little bit. This is squeezed lemonade. I'm going with this for the beach sand. And as it's winter here, of course, guess where I'd really like to be right now? At the beach. Because I think it would be too cold. So of course that's where I want to go. Who likes the beach? Except for the sand and the mayflies and the stingers. Well, this is an Australian book. Some of the hazards in Australia are stingers in the water, which are like jellyfish types of things. Blue-ringed octopus. Everyone's terrified of sharks, though technically they actually don't like the taste of human flesh. They just might be being territorial. Anyway, I did watch The Meg, because carrying on from my geeky conversation from yesterday about Vin Diesel, one of my other favourites is Jason Statham. Yes, I do need a boyfriend. Oh, I shouldn't say that. Oh, that's terribly bad for my YouTube channel to talk about that sort of stuff, I'm sure. Not. I'll get enough of this on today. Right. Anyway, my flatmate and I did watch The Meg because luckily we both love all those action movies as well as sci-fi. So it's a very good match when it comes to movie watching. I think I'm going to yellow up these edges a bit too. On the screen. I'm not sure if that light's helping or not because it's once again later in the day because it took me that long to get my act together, and the light's not really good enough. Sort of here. Bit of this in the middle. No idea what's going on with that, or what that is. Getting messy. Where was I? Kind of lost my train of thought once again. Those segues. Segue away. Stingers, blue ring octopus and sharks. Stonefish. Stonefish. Stingrays. Mind you shouldn't jump onto them when you're drunk. What else? Snakes, scorpions. Now, will I stick that down, or I think I'd like to make it a pull out. All right, so what am I doing? I think that this is a good strong card, so that might actually be good across there to make a little tuck spot. Not even necessarily a little tuck spot. Let's just get that on top. Let's get a decent enough width that this will go in easily, and I've got room for. Are you on? Am I on? Yeah, come on. Room enough for the glue. Cutting mat on the floor. Because this will be, yeah, this will be nice. Sometimes I do paper ones and I always think, well, I don't actually think that it's going to have, you know, super longevity with paper ones, even though sometimes that's nice and pretty and they look lovely. Now, how deep do we want it to be? Maybe a good... Okay, so putting it on the grid. Put it on the grid. There we go. Put it here roughly with the glue. I think I would like it to be deep enough that it's not falling out, but not so high that it kind of, you lose the impact of seeing some of this. So there or there, or I think I'm going to border on it being slightly wider than I would like it to be, just simply so as it really does what it has to do without, you know, this will fit in there nicely and stay in. Didn't think about that, did I? That's just making it. All right, that's just getting in there. So one of the things I was thinking about was getting some very coloured paper for these templates. I don't know, I don't think I'm going to use the platypus. I sure can have a flowery cassowary though. Now, do I have a pen handy that works? That'll do. Might have to come up with another one to put on this other panel here. But this was my idea of what I thought, and going to make these a bit shorter. But while they're they will work. Let's see, they'll work. Kookaburra sits in the old gum tree. Put it on a bit of an angle so he fits in. This will go like that, and then you'll be able to open it up like that. Actually, I wouldn't mind that fitting on there. I wonder if we can. Oh yeah, I like that. All right, so watercolours to the rescue. Have I got water? Yes, I have. Woo! I actually always have my jar of water here. When I've cleaned up, I fill it back up with water and I put it there and it's ready to go. And that's the only thing I'm organised about, I think. I would have to say, other than brushing my teeth in the morning and at night, that's probably the only thing. I'm just getting paint brushes and my watercolours from over here. So let's do a bit of I'm going to put them sort of, I was thinking I would paint around them, but I think I just think I would make a start and then I'll let them dry. This is watercolour paper, a good thick watercolour paper, so it's pretty good. Good thick paper. Let's see. So why did I do a cassowary, you may be asking. I actually don't have much to do with cassowaries. I haven't. The closest is at the sanctuary out at Healesville, and that's where there's a big cassowary that used to chase people. And the emus, which are kind of, you know, very close to cassowaries, have fond memories when I was little, and I am not the only one. I'm pretty sure anyone that grew up in not just Victoria but in Australia and who went to a zoo that had emus. Emus just don't have that great big hard shell on the top. But both cassowary and emu are birds that don't fly. They're flightless birds. And the cassowaries, or the emu, at the sanctuary, as a little kid, you'd be sitting there and you'd be looking forward to having your lunch, and they would come and they would steal the sandwich out of your hand before you even got it into your mouth. So as little kids, we were quite terrified of them, really. This is what's going to happen. This is going to come on here too, but it will need to dry. And I'm also considering that because this is going to fold up like that, that this needs some on as well. Blue or yellow? I think I'll do yellow. Maybe a bit of blue as well. So not so much a cassowary anyway, of, you know, from my memories, but let's let that dry. But an emu. Yeah, so that's my stories about those animals. Never saw a shark. And didn't see any, honestly didn't see any blue ring octopuses. Like when we were younger, we never had anything like blue ring octopuses or stingers. They might have had them up in, you know, in Sydney or in Queensland, but certainly not in Melbourne. Wasn't a thing, and we just didn't know about them growing up. I'll tell you what I did know about, leeches. That's another story for another day. Anyway, this has been day 60, and this has been the start of my little book of my Australia, which is more beaches and things like that, and nature and animals. I could have done a totally bogan. I said that to my flatmate actually. She said, what are you talking? She's from America, so I just said the word bogan. She didn't know what I was talking about. And there we go. And that'll be something, and I will make another little tuck spot for that when this is dried a bit better so it can take the glue. And that'll be, anyway, bogans are kind of, I guess, a little bit more like a redneck, I suppose. Mullet type of person wearing a mullet, and oh, that's nice. Oh, drew on it. Okay. Anyway, I think I'll do a part 2 for some more stuff when I've got it ready and when this is dried. So I might come back tomorrow in daylight. It's not so dark. Do part 2. And I'll be quiet now. And thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.